All right, so this is a little cycling talk. I'm getting to that time of the year where I'm cycling a lot and I can't ski as much as I did. I mean, I live in Pennsylvania, so while there are skiing available out west or even up north in upper Vermont, New York and New Hampshire, I suppose, it gets to be a point where you can't keep on driving all the time. It's just too expensive. I wish I could, but it's just plus, there's other duties to do. But cycling's my other passion. And this year I'm cycling with there's Sunship. All my bicycles are called Sunship. And so this is one of the many versions of Sunship across the years. This giant is really nice, very lightweight carbon fiber bike. It's really fast, more of an exercise type bike. You see the handlebars are, has straight handlebars. However, I'll modify it some more. I'm going to put some bars, drop down type bars, like you see with the triathletes. I got to change the pedals too, but I'm pretty content with them as it is right now. I mean, I could get clipless shoes, I'm thinking of that, and clipless pedals, but I'm content with it right now for where I'm at. I love cycling and especially climbing, and this bike is so light, so it's easy to climb, and I'm just having a blast. I haven't hit any big hills yet, to be honest. And one of my goals for this year is to go after this really big hill, hopefully in by July. That's my goal. It's where Hawk Mountain is, somewhere off 78 near Hamburg, Pennsylvania. So that's my goal, that the hill that goes from the bottom to the top there. That's what I want to do. Also Blue Mountain, the hill that goes on Blue Mountain Road. That's another goal. But don't, I just want to be where there's too much traffic because that's not always wise. But sometimes we just get into the road. I mean, that's just the way it is. Road cycling is dangerous, but road ride, I mean, you can't always rely on the trails. The trails sometimes, like I ride on trails a lot, and the trails aren't maintained that well, so you hit a lot of really crazy bumps. So this is me on Strava. I'm enjoying myself. So I want to talk a lot about feedback today. I love feedback, and I love technology that provides feedback. So I have Strava, and I also have let me just see what the name of that other device I have is. Let's see if we can figure that out. Yeah, I have this, I don't know what it's called, to be honest. I have this device that measures my cadence. So cadence is really important. And from what I've learned from cycling, so when I started back when I was in San Diego and I started really getting into cycling with the maiden Sunship, I was I wanted to. I was doing it for work at first, but then I fell in love with cycling because San Diego is a perfect place to cycle. And I got a book by Greg LeMond, and that's my Bible for cycling. And I know things change. I mean, hell, our brakes are now, different than they used to be. But one thing that I learned from that book was that it's all about cadence. And Greg LeMond's instructions were to keep 80 revolutions per minute. That's the goal, 80 revolutions per minute, no matter what. So that's what I strive to do, 80. And sometimes it'll make me go slower. Than like last year, I was riding with a one speeder, and I still have some faster times with that than I do with this version of Sunship. But as I get more into it and learn my gears, I'm starting to beat many of those records, and I'll crush them all soon. With how light this bike is. The other bike I rode was like all steel and heavy. Great exercise, but you can't like really compete with that. But keeping it 80 revolutions per minute, at first it's a little slow, but eventually, as my legs develop and my muscle strength develops, I'll be able to do it at a different gear, tougher gears, and enjoy myself even more. Now I had fun today. I I call this ride today. We can name our rides. I called it the Hills Are Alive because I hit a lot of hills, and that's what I want to do. I like hill climbing, but again, I didn't do any large hills. I mean, I have some short hills that are steep, but you don't have any like massive hills. So I mean, I didn't go that fast. I know people who like are crushing speeds on average, and maybe one day. I'm also 61, so I'm not like spring chicken. So the 12.2 was my average. Let's see. I don't have my cadence integrated here yet, so that sucks. But I got to figure out how to do that. I did like a short ride. I mean, these aren't like when I was younger, I would do really massive rides. Also, it hurts. It hurts to be honest right now, and especially my back. I mean, so I have to work my core strength more. I do a lot of push-ups, but I need to keep on doing core work. Let's see what I had here. So one thing I like about Strava, well, and again, going back to the immediate feedback, I love feedback because it shows me where I am. Like with this tool, I can compare myself to others. Like here's this one trail wrong way, Willie. I like that one. So it so here's my route for today. And then I can look at these different routes and see, okay, how did I do in comparison to others? Now, with the free version, you can't do that. You have to do a pay version, and it's about $70 a year or something like that. If you're a teacher, and there's other discounts, so I get a discount because I'm a professor. So that's really cool. But I look at this route here. So I beat my best on this route, but I only did three of them. So there's this route is a sprint, basically. One way is easier than the other. Going in the opposite direction, that's my favorite. I think it's called a creeper sprint or something. So we get to name these segments, which I like. I just named one today, so I'll get to that one. One of my favorites. But this one has a little, I think it has a slight incline. It'll show you everything here. But I get to compare myself to others. So this person is the local legend. You can be a local legend if you do it a lot. So I'm 81st out of 410 all time, which, it's okay, but I'm not hitting that speed. Whoever this person is has 32.1 miles per hour. Yikes, I did 16 miles per hour. That's awesome. Hopefully, maybe, one day I'll be able to, but I like comparing myself to others, right? To see how I stack up. Let's see let's do like this year. How many people ran this year? So I'm third this year, right? So there's a person who did 26.7 miles an hour. I'm at 16. So I'm there out of 10. I think I don't know how many went this year. So out of 10 or so. But yeah, so this is all time. And I do no, this is this year, right? It says this year, is it? Yeah, and here's this year. So I'm 3rd all time. I mean third this year. If I go into my age group, I'm first. We old people. Now, a lot of us older. There's a lot of really fast older people here. You'll see then in a different segment. But going back to what I originally was talking about with immediate feedback, I like having this feedback because I can actually see where I stand in relation to others. Plus, I really enjoy the competitive aspect where I can start competing to see, if I can make improvements. See, I have a book out if you're interested in it's, let's see, here it is. If you're interested in seeing it. I have a book out where I talk about I actually discuss the use of feedback in learning. This was an academic book, so it's not cheap, And I have another book I'm working on now, so it'll be more regular people book. But this book's worth it because it'll change your life. It'll change your life forever, teaching you how to actually deal with negative feedback and stuff like that. But feedback's important because we need to know where we stand in everything. And sometimes we like to think we're better than we are, and that's just, you know, uh, that's a recipe for disaster in a sense. So especially if we can't match those pretensions. William James, the putative father of American psychology, noted that in order to be mentally healthy, we have to get rid of our pretension. So things that we can't live up to. So if I said, "Wow, I'm a great cyclist," and then you know, I look at my results all time and go, you know, geez, there's somebody who does this in, 25 seconds, and I'm doing it in like 50 seconds. I don't know, what did I have, 50 seconds or something? I don't know, but I'm gonna say, wow, I'm not as good as I thought I was. Yeah, 50 seconds. So this person did it half the time. Having that feedback is important. And one of the individuals I know who's a clinical psychologist noted that he doesn't like having, and he cycles too. He doesn't like having feedback because he said it takes away from the beauty of the ride. And hey, I get it 100%. And sometimes you can overly focus on performance. I mean, that happens a lot. However, I will say that having having feedback lets you know where you stand, and it can be challenging. I mean, I also have in my little cadence monitor, I'm always monitoring my cadence. So if I see if I'm falling below 80, I know how to shift gears. I mean, that's a good thing. My goal is to keep cadence at 80. But I also see my speed, so I can challenge myself. I can do all kinds of stuff, and I can actually improve my performance by having that feedback. So one of the things that Strava allows you to do is create your own segments. And there's this segment that nobody had created yet, so I decided to create it. I call it the albino deer. Oh, good. It's updated. So I'm 16 out of 55 in this segment. That's cool. I'm so glad. Yeah, I just created it this morning. It's really cool. And yeah, so oh, this is awesome. I just saw this for the first time now. I call it the albino deer because a lot of times when I ride by here, maybe this was last year, so hopefully he's still alive. There was this deer that was an albino that would run around there. So I just call that the albino deer. But it's really cool to see other people are doing it. And I love that you're able to create your own. That's awesome. So let's see, how did I did one 123, so I'm like tied with some other people here. You can look at how he did this year. Let's see how he did this year. This is the first time I look at I'm all time 16 out of 55. This year I am second. This dude, he's everywhere and he's like crushing it. I love it. So like that's how to see this is feedback. So he did it 119, so 4 seconds ahead of me. So I'm gonna push to, try to beat him. I can do that. And I think he's in my age group too. Yep. See us old folks, we like to do it too. But anyway, this is fun. It's a lot of fun. And I love having data like this. Look, it shows me all my efforts. Isn't that cool? And I didn't ride a lot since October because I was focusing on skiing and it's cold. I mean, yesterday I almost got frostbite riding in the morning because my fingers are exposed. Dumb of me. But like see you can see the difference here with the bike. This is changing from my all steel bike to my this, I think, the first time I recorded this effort this year. I mean, with a new bike, or it's actually a used bike I got, but I mean, my effort is so much better. It's crazy. But anyway, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about feedback. So, what's the moral of the story? First of all, you should buy this book. It's worth it because it'll change your life, understanding how to learn through feedback and how to appropriate feedback and how to actually strive for adaptation and success in life. I know we're going to have a 25% sale starting in 21st, a couple days. It'll be a 25% sale through Routledge. So Routledge is a publisher. But anyway, so that's one thing. And then I would strongly recommend that you have, for whatever activity you're doing, get something that gives you feedback and pay for it. It's, $60 a year. It's not I can live with that. It's not that horrible. I mean, I pay for television viewing during football season. I pay crazy amounts of money. So this is good. This is something for your health. And you can really check at how you're doing. I'll tell you what, get out there and cycle, and break some records, and you'll be healthier. I mean, I just got my blood work done yesterday, and my HDLs, high density lipoproteins, were off the chart good. So, and everything else was good too. So, you'll do well to stay fit and exercise and break some goals. Get that feedback. Don't overdo it. If it's bothering you, like my friend who's the clinical psychologist says, if it is something that bothers you and causes you stress, then stop. But if it's not, and you can learn how to use it. Remember, it's not about beating these people. I wanted to beat this one guy, but it's not about beating them. It's about improving yourself. And I want to improve myself. And if I can beat somebody at it, why not? But I'm focused on improving myself. That's why the feedback's so important. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.